We're going? Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the WA Epson Professional Photographer of the Year Awards. Here we are again on a beautiful sunny day in Perth, actually in Leederville at North Metropolitan TAFE, Leederville campus. And even though it's a beautiful day outside, we're stuck inside, but luckily we've got an amazing view of a whole range of images coming up. So we have our judging panel. They're in the gate. They're in the starters' orders. We're ready to go. I'd just like to introduce our judging panel. So we have Amber Simcoe, Master Photographer. Thank you, Amber, for joining us today. Lisa Ivandich. Yes, I've been practicing all night. We're going to give Janet coaching lessons too. So we have Lisa, Master Photographer, Gold Bar. We have our interstate judge, Dean Mansfield. Pardon? Mansbridge. My apologies, Dean. Yeah. Do you? Fridge. Okay. Think of all those towns you've got named after you. Thank you, Dean. So Dean's come over from Tassie to help us out with our judging. Did an amazing job yesterday. So we have Dean's Master Photographer Gold Bar. We have the lovely Anna from Sydney. Anna's one of our long-term friends. She comes to visit us from time to time. Yeah. Forever friends. Lovely, Anna. Thank you. And a Master Photographer Gold Bar. 2 gold bars. Oh, you had one hidden there for me. Thank you, Anna. And also we have one of our favourite sons, long-term member, past president, and all-round nice bloke, David Britton, who's our Master Photographer, 3 gold bars. So thanks, David. Always, we've got a great team here. And also we've got, sitting right behind them, we've got a great selection of judges that we'll introduce as they come up to the hot seats. So we are judging the portrait. By the way, my name's Des Burt and I will be the panel chair. And alongside me, I have Fiona, who's looking after the sound system. Thank you, Fiona. Out the back, we've got Scott, our resident IT person. He's the man that makes all this happen. And also we've got our print handlers, Cora, Abby and Ruby, and they're going to work their magic out behind the scenes there. So thank you, ladies, out the back there. So we are judging the portrait category this morning. And this is sponsored by KL and Canson, so producers and distributors of some very fine products. In fact, I've got a fair idea we'll be looking at a bit of Canson today, so admire it. It does some wonderful work on our images. So I'm about to run through the preamble for this category. I think I've got all my other bases covered. And then we'll get straight into the judging. Portrait photography is broadly defined and can include family, corporate, travel, creative and interpretive portraits. Entrance into the portrait category will be judged broadly based on content, impact and professional quality. The judges will be asked to consider portraiture in its broadest context. The portrait category will be judged in 2 sections, portrait open and then portrait single capture, and I will notify you when that change happens. The category is judged in 2 sections to assist the judges in their assessment. However, there is only 1 award for this category. Polytiptures, diptychs, triptychs, minimitititches are permitted in both sections. Portrait open. Entrants may utilise all post-production techniques, including multiple images or elements in producing their entry. So anything goes. Portrait single capture. This section is intended to reward technical and creative excellence in photographing and presenting an authentic representation of a scene without the benefit of creative compositing. No, I'd correct that. Compositing techniques. So for those that on live stream, it's been a bit in-house. The phrase that's been coming across over the past couple of days has been composting as the new term for compositing. Creative cooking. Okay, judges, are you ready to go? So we have the first print coming up and we will give this all due attention. And so we're in for an exciting morning, I'm sure. Can't wait to see what's happening. Okay. I'll be changing things. So I know Tony wants to be everybody, but not today. um, yes, I've got my paperwork to do. Please relax about that. Whilst you're judging the next print, all will be revealed. Okay. So, are we ready to go out the back? All good? Ready to go? Yep. Okay, can we have our first print, please? Pardon? Yes, sorry. Yes. So this is portrait open. Okay, this print scores 79 by majority, which is a very strong professional practice, and it's very close. So I'm going to look for a comment. Thank you, Anna.
Am I on? Oh, yes, I am. It's a great idea. I think it needs some finessing, but you know, go with it. You've got the bones of a really great idea.
Great. Thank you, Anna. And next print, please. Next print. Thank you. Thank you, judges. Scores are coming in here. This print scores 80 by majority, silver award. Lisa, thank you.
It's a beautiful concept and a lovely couple. It's got if you could perhaps do a little bit of a less strong vignette. The vignette's very strong, and I'd love to see the couple almost replicating the mood of their very formal photo behind them. They're sort of almost slightly forced cuddling in the shot below. They're fairly natural, but if they were sort of a bit more serious, this would just be sort of a brilliant winner here. So beautiful shot, lovely shot of the couple. But yeah, well done.
Terrific. Thanks, Lisa. Next print, please. Right, thank you, judges. And we have a silver award at 80. Anna, yeah, sure.
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not understanding the narrative, and I think it would be great if there was some way you could help me a little bit with this, because it's certainly beautifully printed and there's so much going on here that's lovely. But if we had did anyone get the aha moment about what it was about? No, you see, we didn't understand. We didn't get that aha moment. Maybe she's turned 30 and she thinks that's the end of her life. I don't know. No, I don't get it. But it's yeah.
I think she's just grieving the loss of a lot of people or something like that. So there's a lot of initial impact that came up that was great, but then it sort of fell flat with the finessing of the way the other elements have been added into it. So initial impact was great and print quality was excellent, but it could definitely be finessed a little bit and a little bit more consideration put into the way these elements come together.
Thank you. And it sits at a silver, so I think the photographer should be happy with that. Right. And next print, please. It's good. Nice steady pace, judges. Thank you. This sprint scores 82, silver award. David, could I get a... No? Looking for a comment, please. Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, this was really lovely. It had a lot of impact when it came around. I love the use of the texture mirroring the... is it scarring or was it tattoos on his face? The tattoos on his face. Yeah, I think that was really good. Bold choice to have the person facing away from the light like that, but it pulled off really well. There's a little hint of his arm in the bottom that could be cropped out. Perhaps that's a little distraction. It's not a massive thing, but you know, it doesn't have to be there. And yeah, so congratulations, silver award. Well done.
Thanks, and next print, please. Thank you, folks. This print scores 76, right smack in the middle of professional practice. And Anna, you've got some wisdom to share.
I do. You need to reprint this. There's a lot of banding, which is a shame. This face is adorable. Crop it more because you've got half a leg and half a hand and half an arm. You've got to crop it in closer and reprint it really well. And I would take it right up there.
Great. Terrific. Thanks, Anna. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print's scores are coming in. This print scores 86, and a hand was even up before I finished. We have a challenge from Anna. Thank you, Anna. Anna's not happy with everyone else, but she's going to explain why. And at 93, Anna, off you go.
Hello, here I am. Gold Award, right? I'm just going to tell you what this is. This is outstanding visual communication, interpretation, emotional impact, and technique. That is this, absolutely. This is, firstly, so many images. How often can you get so many images and just be overwhelmed by each one? Each one is a gold. There's nothing that's letting it down. The background, I love Captain Underpants, the second one, he's fantastic. And then the one at the end, the beard that's been combed up over his face, it's just, and so it's just, and look at the background there, behind his face. So they've combed it up over his face and held it on with those glasses. And then you've got all the different variations of this person. You've got the evil, the devil, you've got the shaman, you've got the Joker, you've got the domesticated one, and you've got the God figure. You know, you've got, and the mysterious one. You've got all of these different figures in there. It just, I'm overwhelmed. It's so fabulous.
Thanks, Anna. And you've got a friend in your neighbour there with David. David, you like this image?
I love this. This is fantastic. Great, amazing visual communication. As Anna pointed out, there's a fantastic series. Each individual image is very strong, and I just probably a bit weak on 87. Unfortunately, we've got such a short amount of time to get the images, and there's a lot to take in with this, and I'd really need more time to really understand it a bit more. So that's probably why I didn't go as high, but I'm going to move up.
Great. Thanks. Now I'm going to go with Amber. Thank you, Amber.
Sure. I gave this an award for the quirky imagination. I really think that it's just a little bit more finessing. I found the head sizes slightly different, so if you can match them up exactly, I think that would bring it all in together a bit nicer. I think maybe 5 images, maybe it's just one too many. The other thing, just a little bit of difference in the amount of contrast in each of the faces, so particularly that first one doesn't match in contrast to the rest of them. But yeah, I'm listening to the arguments. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Amber. Anyone else wish to offer their thoughts? Dean?
Yeah, I loved it straight away as well. It's quirky as all hell. It's like someone suffering from multiple personality disorder, I think. And there's this, but we're all a bit like that, you know. We've all got different aspects to our personalities. This dude's just a little bit more extreme, I think, in these different personalities. So, yeah, massive fan straight away. I don't know why I kept it below gold to start with. Maybe it was just a bit soft. Maybe this is me trying to wake up in the morning. We've only started the day. Don't nod and say I'm soft. I can say that, but you're not allowed to. So I really love it. I hear what you're saying, Amber, though. Like, I acknowledge those comments definitely, and perhaps it could be improved with that. For me, that's not enough to pull it down, though. I don't think now, giving it a little bit more time. So there's nothing I can say to pull it down. So I think I'm potentially coming up into gold as well.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. And Amber, I think that the guy is in the same place, but for the devil, he's leaned forward and put his big head forward, sort of to be more of a presence. So I think that where you've got them a little bit further away, it's more because they're not in a dominant position like Captain Underpants. As soon as he's the devil, he's really leaned forward and so I think that there is sense in why the heads are a little bit closer or further away. It's to do with the character that they're portraying. But yeah, I'm thanks, guys. I'm sure enough of you are going to be with me. It's just brilliant.
Thank you, team. Well discussed. Okay, so Anna's going to hold her score at 93. Everybody else will rescore, please. Based on that wisdom. Print was sitting at 86. The print now sits at 90. Gold award. Well, You tickled somebody's fancy. Well done, and that's why we have the system that we have. That was a good team effort. Well done, everyone. And we're going to go with next print, please. Great, thanks, judges. Print scores are coming in. Print scores an 84, silver award. Who would like to provide some feedback? Thank you, Lisa.
I think this is a really lovely image. I think it's a very powerful message. I love how even the photo inside looks like it's had its Instagram filter with the colorings as well. As far as improving, I'm not too sure. I can't really see anything specific that jumps out, but well done. It's a beautiful image, a great message.
Thanks, Lisa. Next print, please. Have a blank screen, please. Blank screen, thank you. Right, okay. Thank you, everyone. I think we're back on target now. This print scores a very solid 78, a quality professional practice. And I'd like to, Anna, thank you.
There's, a lot you can do with hands to make things really sensual, and I think that is one of the things that's let it down. You can say a lot with hands, and we don't have any hands. We just have elbows. So yeah, I'd revisit that.
Thanks, Anna. And next print, please. Print scores 81, silver award. Dean, thank you.
It's a really beautiful print, this one. So go have a look at it on the wall if you can. It's printed beautifully. I think I wanted eye contact on the fixed frame. I think the concept's beautiful. The flowiness of it's lovely in her hair. But for her lower half of her body to be so stagnant conflicts with that movement, I think. Perhaps a bit more power would have been there if we had eye contact with the first one. Also, her skin's a bit brighter on the bottom part of her neck than on her face, whereas it's been handled really nicely below. So a bit of finessing. Maybe there's another frame you could have some more movement in. So congratulations on a silver.
Excellent. And well said. Thank you, Dean. Next print, please. Everyone, this print scores 74 in the middle of professional practice, and I'm looking for some constructive feedback, please. I'm looking for eyeball. Thank you, Anna. You looked at me. That's it.
When you are doing parts of the body, you want the graphic design and the negative space to really have a lovely flow to it. So, you know, explore more of that next time, I think.
Thanks, Anna. Let's do a judge change. So, Emma, thank you very much. Have a rest. Don't go too far away. Johannes, I want to sneak you in. There, mate. Warm the seat. Make yourself comfortable. Yeah. So swap you with Nathan. Yeah. Thank you. So adjusting their seats, the armrests, their eyeballs, their. What is that? Okay. Thank you, folks. We all set. Okay. Focus on the job, please. Okay. Here we go. Next print, please. Thank you, everyone. This print scores 82, silver award. Nathan, thank you. Oh, sorry. Come on, you two, work it out. Sorry, David.
A nice image, but I just think technically, I mean, I think less depth of field would have really improved it. I just think it's so sharp all the way through. It's not particularly believable from that point of view. Lighting, I'm not as keen on. So, but good execution and a solid silver.
Excellent. Great feedback. Thanks, David. Next print, please. Okay, we have our scores coming in. One by one, they tick away, and this print arrives at a score of 84. Silver award. Nathan, you enjoyed this.
I really do enjoy this. I think to push this even higher, the authenticity would be stronger if that face wasn't so studio perfect and sharp. Everything else screams a certain era, and then the hand and face is just crisp. So if we matched that tone all the way through, then this would
And the budgie needs to be smaller.
budgie a little bit smaller. Big budgie. Anna's saying big budgie, freaking big budgie. But please keep working on this, photographer. This is very gold image with. Yeah. Pull back the sharpness a bit,
So
David says.
a lot of
yeah.
nodding heads
Yeah.
with
A
Nathan.
lot of us are enjoying this
agreements
image.
there. So, yeah, great feedback. Well done. Thank you, everyone. Good job. And next print, please. Yep. Whilst the judges are perusing, we're going to do a bit of sponsor promotion here, of course. KL are the distributors of the great product Canson papers, and I suspect that we're probably viewing results of Canson's fine work today. A number of these images would be actually reproduced on these quality papers. Canson, a very long-living French company that's produced papers for centuries, I think. This print comes in at 78, strong professional practice, and I'm looking for a comment, please. Thank you, Lisa.
Beautiful portrait of a young boy. I love the sort of the awkwardness of his hand back and laughing. That's how boys of this age kind of laugh. Just watch your handling of the print. It's been over-dealt with at the eyes. There's some bright highlighting in trying to bring out the eyes on the lids, and it's slightly over-sharpened in comparison to the rest of the print. But lovely moment captured. Well done.
Great. Thanks, Lisa. And next print, please. Thanks, judges. This print scores 76, right smack in the middle of professional practice. Anyone care to help out as to how we can improve and lift the imagery?
With a silhouette, we need to be told something because you can't see any expression. So, maybe even if there's two people, if you could have two little trees, two big trees, if you could do something a little bit quirky and double up on each one of those trees so all the trees had a partner or something. You need something more that tells us a little quirky story, not just a beautiful sunset and two people. Because it's the awards, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thanks, Anna. Next print, please. Just waiting for the final scores to come in and for the process to do the tally. This print scores 82, silver award. Johannes, thank you. You enjoyed it very
Yeah,
much.
I really enjoyed the character. I think the photographer has done an excellent job to portray the face and the character of this captain. It also got a lovely story. It's a little bit over processed, which normally I'd say it's a lot over processed, but it actually works. But it's just a little bit too much, and have him dead center in the middle. I think that's kind of compositionally, it's kind of always pulling me in the like wrong direction.
Great. Thanks, Johannes. Good job. Next print, please. And this print scores 82, Silver Award. But I'd like a comment, please. Thank you, Lisa.
This is actually another really beautifully printed print. I love that she almost feels elongated. You've come down a little bit lower to exaggerate this snake lady type feel. There's just something in her face that's not quite believable. If she was perhaps tilted slightly down and staring us down, I'd have gone right up. But it's beautifully handled. Beautifully handled. Well done.
And a
Short comment. A bit more separation for the top of her head would feel a bit more of that elongation. That's it.
Great, well done. Good job, team. Next print, please. Print scores 77. And who can offer some wisdom as to thank you, Johannes?
Lovely concept, lovely, really nice gesture. Give your subjects a little bit more space to breathe in. They're all a little bit tight, and really look at lighting, like for good light, and also styling as in dress them up maybe more, like that it jumps out more.
Thank you. Can I just do a judge change? David, if you could have a break and... Sorry? A judge change, yeah. Change your gear. And change your attitude while you're at it. Dean, if you could... I'm kidding, I hope. Thank you, Dean. You're joining us now in place of David Britton. Okay. All set? Eyes front. And next print, please. Sprint scores 78, high end of professional practice. Thank you, Dean.
Like where you're going here, the way that the softness of the body in this harsh environment, it kind of works. But the focus point's on her elbow, not on her face. She's a little bit tight, like she's the composition where her feet and her fingers are so close to the edge of the frame in what looks like a pretty big expanse of space. Maybe could have been shot a little bit differently. She could be smaller in it. It could be printed smaller as well, perhaps would alleviate those issues and we wouldn't be as noticeable. So professional practice, you're on the way, the good concept, keep going.
Excellent. Great comments. Thank you, Dan. Next print, please. Great, thanks, judges. This print scores 78. And Nathan, you have microphone in hand, poised, ready. That's okay.
This is a really striking concept, and I'd love the photographer to keep on playing with this. Don't fix the lighting flaws, accentuate them, because it really creates a great landscape. I feel like we've lost complete sharpness over her cheek, a bit above her forehead. It feels like a Photoshop brushing has taken something out, and so I feel like if we had that crispness all the way through, then it would be more believable for me as a textured landscape. Yeah.
Excellent. Quick one, yeah. Thanks, Johanna.
You just watch bottom left, that highlight. I mean, this is portrait open. You could easily Photoshop that out. And
Bottom
the top
left.
on the hair, maybe crop in just a smidge.
Yeah, nodding there too. Okay, next print, please. Okay, prints are coming in. We have a score of 83, silver award. And we have a challenge from Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. We'll accept that.
Okay, judges, let's have a little look at this one. I think this is delightful's not the right word, but it really is delightful. Have a look at these people. One of them's got a blood nose. The dude at the front is drooling. One at the back smoking. I mean, clearly we've got the Bible bashers, so they're taking the piss. These are your antithesis of Bible bashers. I am struggling to see anything here to mark it down. There's a grittiness. I love the bit of light that's slightly stronger coming in from the right. Every single person is portraying a beautiful character and meaning and feeling there. I like the dark, muted printing, except for that bright Bible bashers. For me, this is a solid silver distinction, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Sure. So, Lisa, you're on 88. We have Anna on 85. So you have a liking for this? Yeah.
I actually think this is challenging our stereotypes. So I believe these guys are Bible bashers. And because there is a book there that I think is a Bible, and also his T-shirt is giving, at the front, is giving me a little bit of a feel of a sentence, something to do with the Lord. I believe, we're being challenged. Our stereotypes are challenged. That why can't a punk rock type band be a believer in God and have faith? And that's what I think is the story, and I love that. The lighting's a little bit in some of it, and there's a few mistakes there, but the concept, the idea, and most of the way it's been carried out, I think is great. I think it deserves a silver distinction too.
So, Nathan, you're not quite at that level at this stage.
I put it at professional practice. I love all these stories you're bringing in. I just want it to be finished, and straightening steps and not straightening the arch feels like it's not quite finished. Lighting the chin and the hand and the back so brightly and not focusing on any of these great expressions. Every single one of these actors in here are nailing it with the expressions, and none of the lighting is giving that any respect or honour. And this same image, if the photographer keeps working on it, is right up there in the high 80s, and they've got to keep on going. I would give a bit more space to the arch at the top. That would balance it so well. And otherwise the story is strong, but I'm a bit angry because I want this to keep on going. Make this as exceptional as the concept is.
Okay, if no one else, I'll hand it back to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
So I hear your comments there, Nathan. I'm actually slightly forgiving of the lighting because I'm actually picturing this as a street, and they're not trying to make it artificial studio. I've produced this to the nth degree, and they probably my sad conservative upbringing. These are the new rage Bible bashers out there, so they probably are out there preaching, say we can be wild and drink and do some dodgy things and still actually have faith. But lighting wise, yeah, okay, so it's not our classic, let's not go there. It's not our classic studio lit light. We'd want to see a little bit more of these faces. But they're trying to show you that they've got a dark side, and they're sitting out on the street. And I believe that in a way they've purposefully not given it the fine art, classic lighting that you would want, because it is on the street, it is dark, it's not perfect. This is who they are. So I really think this is worthy of a silver distinction, and I'd love to see you all come up there.
What wonderful articulation. Thank you,
To come
Lisa.
up there.
So, judges, who are going to rescore, except Lisa, who's holding her score of 88. The print was sitting on 83 at a solid silver award. And we're going to see if this the score shifts here. Hannah's just waiting on you, mate. Will it climb from 83 to something else? It does, 85. Silver distinction. Well done, team. Okay, next print, please. Right. This print scores smack bang on 80, silver award. So, Anna, you're very close to the silver.
Look, rework this. This is an environmental portraiture. I want to see more of the environment. I want to understand him, and I don't understand him because I can't see what's going on. The dodging and burning has let it down. You need to rework this print, especially on the bottom half of the legs there, and give us some idea. Tell us a little bit more of the story, because he's a fascinating creature. So I think that this could definitely go higher at APPAs with a little bit of, just muck around with this print.
Lovely. Yes. Great commentary. Good. Lots of nodding. Quick comment from Johannes. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, and light that cigarette. Have some smoke coming off the cigarette. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, Judge change. Nathan, I know you haven't been there too long, but I would like to give you a quick rest. Can I, in a sec? Yeah. I would want to keep the female. Jeff, would you like to join us, mate? Thank you. In same 5 minutes. We are welcoming the very esteemed statesman like Mr. Jeff Fisher. How long have you been a member for, Jeff? Or when did you first start with the AIPP? Yeah. Well, when it started. IAP. Early 80s. Goodness me. Yeah. We have royalty in our midst. Thank you for joining us, Jeff. Ready to go. Next print, please. Thank you, everyone. This print scores 82, Silver Award. And Anna, in a very pleasant fashion, has raised her hand to challenge. Anna, you're on 88?
Yeah. I'd just like to have a little talk about this, because 82, I really feel like it deserves more. I mean, he's an old retired jockey. You can see he's got his old whip in his hand, which I know is a little bit controversial. You know, we don't like whipping horses, but that's what it was like in his day. And then you go around and look around, and he's still working with horses, but in the background, that horse whipping its tail around, that movement in the background is just beautiful. You know, I'd love to see this come up more than an 82. You know, talk to me.
Thanks, Dean. You enjoyed this as well at 83?
I would
Sorry,
love to see this.
82.
I'd love to see this come up, and I think at APPA it could if it was treated a little bit differently.
Okay.
So I love all that story. I think it's a beautiful little character portrait of a gentleman in his environment. I think that's really cool. It's really lacking sharpness. There's a lot of detail in the capture, I believe, but I don't think it's sharp enough. I think a little basic treatment there, and maybe it's a bit washed out with no true black and stuff. That's a bit more contrast, bit of sharpening in the right areas, and I reckon we could see it come up. For this print that we're looking at now, I'm very comfortable with that in the silver range.
Lisa, you can offer...
Thanks, Anna, for challenging. I was in the 78, and I will come up to silver. I think probably what held me back, I did love the story, I love the swishing tail, was exactly what Dean said. It's very soft. It's really lacking some contrast and some punch. It needs just a little bit of finessing and sharpen him up a bit and darken around the edges, bring in some blacks and some a little bit of crunch, not too much, don't go too far. So I'll definitely come up. I'm not sure I'm silver distinction yet, but I'll come up there and listening.
Thanks, Anna. You got some good intel there.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree. It's a pretty flat print. You know, the print quality isn't there, but we're judging the print award, so that is important, but we're also judging portrait. And as an environmental portrait, this has got the bones of something delightful with a bit of better printing. I just wanted to talk about it and see if we could get a couple more points for it, because it really has got his face, his attitude, his expression. You know, all of those things are right there, right on the ball.
Thank you, Anna. So you will hold your score, please, and everyone else, please rescore. Print was sitting at 82. Solid silver award now is at 84. Silver award. Every point helps. Next print, please. This print scores that particular score of 79, which be at Apple would be kind of not bad news, but unfortunately it's going to live with 79. Dean, are there things that can be done to get it up into that
I'm
silver
the bad
range
guy
for
that
the
gave
future?
it a 79. So I felt that it felt short of the award level. There's obviously a bit of a narrative happening here with the plastic, so that's cool. I like that. Her eyes seem really dead. There isn't much light in her eyes, which is sometimes okay, but I feel like it's sort of half there and half not. The cropping's a bit uncomfortable. We've got her wearing the same colour normal dress underneath there, and her arm that's kind of a lost sort of detail. I'm not sure if there's a point to that, but it's dragged me down there to find nothing. So perhaps a revisit of the cropping and some technical things in there. We got, would elevate it for me.
Cool. Great comment, thank you. And Jeff, thank you.
I agree generally with Dean, but I do like the cropping. I think it's great, and the use of colour. I think it's fantastic. Just a problem with the face being a bit muddy and a lack of detail down the bottom.
Cool. Great commentary, thank you. Next print, please. Print scores 78. Solid professional practice, well and truly. And thank you, Dean. You can offer some wisdom here.
I'm just going to speak to this one because I think the concept's really cool. I think a little bit more finesse. I think it would be better if she wasn't wearing clothes. You can see little singlet straps under there. I think that doesn't need to be there. I think if she's going to be completely wrapped up in this suffocating sort of plastic, go all the way with the planning. Also, the way her nose intersects with this bit of black, that's the only bit of solid black there. It's a bit unfortunate. And yeah, the whole bending in on the left-hand side also is a bit unnecessary. So continue with this concept because you're on the way to something, that we could talk about a lot, I think.
Great feedback. Thank you. Next print, please. Right, scores are coming in for this image. Okay, this print scores 87, silver with distinction. And we have a challenge from Dean on 91. Thank you, Dean.
We're really close, aren't we? Like, we're really close. This is so beautiful and just stunning. Like, your initial impact was massive. I couldn't wait to get up and have a close look. So often, unfortunately, you have a close look and you're let down, but this was just wow. Every little detail, the little freckles on her face just sort of blew me away. And the little tattoo of the gave it a sense of calm and peace, but in a really colourful, poppy, vibrant kind of way. It's like it has this fairy tale kind of elements to it. You're getting a great sense of who this character is, but gee, I want to know more. And leaving me hanging like that's really exciting. It's like the cover of a book. I just can't wait to get into it. So let's get into it with a little bit more discussion. I think it's worth considering for a gold.
Excellent. Oh, you got some friends with you, so let's go. Actually, Johannes, you're giving it silver distinction. So
Yes, I was on 86. There's so much detail in this, I didn't even see that tattoo. Which I've been so caught up in the other detail. Yeah, I didn't see that tattoo, which really totally missing a big part of the story, obviously. Yeah, love the color palette, love the handling of the print. It's really beautiful. I still feel I need to hear more to go up to gold, but so I'd like other people to speak, please.
I'm sure you will hear it. Lisa, you look like you found something there.
I did. I'm a Muppet. I was trying to work out what the numbers had to do with the story. I thought it said 5444, not shh. And I was like, is she maybe a robot in a world that's feeling regimented? And I was trying to build a story around it, and I was struggling. Now I work out it's a shh. It's a whole different level for me. So, yeah, thank you for challenging. I've definitely underscored. I'll come up, and I'm interested to see where I'm going. Yeah, I'm listening.
Anna, you
Yeah,
like it?
the shush is what does it all the time, and the colour palette's amazing. The freckles, the way her face has been made look just a little bit more like anime. It's got a bit of an anime feel to it, almost Japanese in the background, the blossoms. So that gives you the feel of anime, which is fantastic. If anything, I would have gotten rid of the butterfly on the bottom left, because I think that we need to sort of go around and come back to her, and I don't like being pulled down there. But that's only like, I don't know why I gave it 87. I should have given it, 93. So that's what I'll do.
Thanks, Dean. Yeah, you got lots of support there.
Yeah, I've sort of got it all out the first round, so I don't have much else to say. I'm glad, given a bit more time, and with something with these multiple elements in here and a lot of story, it takes a little bit of time to see everything. So, so fair enough. I'm glad I managed to see it, because sometimes I'm the guy that misses out on seeing it in the first place. But no, it's such a stunning print. I really can see that very happily hanging on the gold wall. And if you can as well, then let's rescore it and get it up there.
Excellent. Let's go to work. So Dean holds on to his score of 91. Everyone else is rescoring. We have a score. It was 87. It is now 91, Gold Award. Well done, Dean, and well done, team. That's a great effort. Okay, We're going to move on to the next print, please. Right, this print scores 84, a silver award. And we're having a challenge from Johannes, who's sitting on 90.
I'm sitting on 90, yeah. Yeah, look at this. It's quirky. It's kind of in your face. It's totally random. It's awesome. There's so much, so many little things, you know, like the oil leak, the back tire's not straight. It's kind of, there's this dude with these colors that remind me on holiday, you know, sort of island. Yeah, great character. I really love it. Tell me why I don't. I think it should really, I think silver distinction, it deserves silver distinction. Maybe even gold.
Can I go with Dean? You gave this an 84, so it's solid silver there.
I don't want to tell you why I don't love it, because I don't like doing that. But I think, given the controlled environment, we can safely assume, I think, that the photographer here has had complete control over the situation. I don't think the lighting on the face of the subject is as good as what it could be, considering that's the sort of subject, right? So we want to be able to see. Being lit from the back like that is, I don't think, the best way to have lit this situation. Assuming that's the same light that's lit the guitar at the same time, it's really doing bad things on the guitar in terms of the highlights there. That's by far the brightest part of the image, and it's sort of not handled very well at all. So there's that technical thing that's held me back. I'm with you, Johannes, on the whole story and the elements and the quirkiness, and it's this sort of bizarre kind of contrived little piece of illustrative portraiture that I actually really enjoyed. This was one of those instances where I thought, this is quirky and fun, I'm going to love this, and then it fell flat a little bit at the end there. So that's why I've kept it in the silver range. I was at 84, so just below the distinction range, and I'm still keeping it there at this point, but open ears.
Do you want, yeah, sorry. So Jeff, are there elements here that you're not happy with?
Yeah, I find that the blue backdrop generally and the highlight in the middle a little bit overpowering, and really it should be about him, but it's more about the everything else, and it doesn't work for me. The base of the palm trees, so interfering or arguing with the front wheel, just worries me. But I do like the concept, but I just think it needs a bit of work.
Thanks, Hannah.
Okay, so I'm going to start with what I don't like about it first, and yeah, the facial expression is, and the light on the face and the lighting is definitely letting it down. And this is portrait, so I think that this guy either has to look terribly grungy and nasty, or absolutely clean shaven and cute, just for the juxtaposition. And he's somewhere in the middle. He's sort of like, you know, he's not giving me any story at all except for his finger, which, you know. So that's the only bit that I don't like. The ridiculous blue Hawaiian backdrop, I think, is fantastic. This bike, there's no way that bike runs. You look at it, like, that bike hasn't run for a long time. So that is fantastic. I love that he's on this bike and he's not even going anywhere. Like, he's never going anywhere with that bike. Look at where the petrol tank is. It's a coffin. It's the shape of a coffin. So there's all these quirky, fabulous things. That suitcase with his grandfather's suitcase, that's a suitcase from the 70s. You know, there's so many fantastic things. I'd really like to be, you know, given an aha moment and taken further. I really would. I gave it a silver, but it's just got so many fabulous things going for it that it's just a shame that whole just the lighting and the face and everything isn't really like more. You know, it's not mooring me.
Okay. Thanks, Johannes. Can you work? Sorry, Lisa. Yes.
I was just going to say, I agree. I do like the blue in the background. I think it's that, you know, when you used to get a photo taken before you got on a cruise behind a fake background. It's kind of that. He was going to go cruise the Sunset Strip, and, you know, his bike got all that word we can't say on live stream up. And I really love that part of the story. I was just going to say, if this person wants to take it to AIPP and that reshooting isn't an option, just bring out that face a little bit more, darken down that bike and add some contrast to that front wheel, and that will improve it immensely. But I'm quite comfortable with it being a really solid silver, but I'm still listening. I love the story. It's brilliant.
Great commentary, folks. Good stuff. Hey.
Also, you love the story, so come up to silver distinction. Yes, there's a few things that can be, like the guitar, obviously, but just that blue and that randomness and that palm tree, it just adds. Yes, it's in the way of the wheel, but it's a random portrait. It's not supposed to be crazy. It's not supposed to be clean and perfect. And he's got a little smirk on his face. It's not just looking blandly. I think silver distinction be awesome. Thank you.
Let's see how we go. Thank you. So, judges rescoring, apart from Johannes, who will hold his score at 90. You've had time for looking. Now it's time for scoring. So the print was sitting at 84, which is a really solid silver award. It is now 85 by the majority, silver distinction. Next print. Oh, actually, sorry, before we go, just holding that, folks. Just, Lisa, you can have a break. Thank you. Amber, if I could sneak you in for Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Great work as always. And now we can go next print, please. Thank you, judges. And you happy with your score, Jeff, or would you like to change it? Okay, can everybody remember their score, please? I'm going to reset. Everybody remembering their score. Okay, can everybody please enter their score? Its print scores 79. And Dean is going to offer some wisdom here into how to get it beyond that.
It's really beautiful, but I think it would be more beautiful if the photographer had taken 5 or 6 steps back and zoomed in for a tighter crop. Her legs look massive in proportion to her face, and her feet, by extension, look even bigger. It's also cut quite tightly at her feet, which is a bit uncomfortable. Photographer very well may not have had space to move back and do that and change her perspective, but take that on board, that the perspective, is that even the right word?
Yeah.
If you stand back and zoom in, the compression that you get from a distance will work more in your favour. Also, it's cropping in general, got this negative space to the left that looks like they've done that just so they can put her on a third, because there's no real value in the detail that we're getting over there. But it's a beautifully captured print and a well-made print. There's just nothing... those little things, plus maybe nothing to push it into the award range, but really high professional practice is where we all scored it, I think.
Great commentary, thank you. Very constructive. Okay. Rowdy bunch next door. Next print, please. Thank you, everyone. Scores are coming in. Calculation is this print scores 79. And we have Jeff, who's scored at 85 and is challenging. Thank you, Jeff.
I think this is a glorious picture of a shepherd, and I couldn't imagine it being done any better. The positioning of that guy in relation to the trees is good. There's nothing competing with him. The dog's looking back, waiting for something to happen. There's dogs in the background. There's animals further back. I think that in a lot of ways it's perfect, and I think it deserves a silver distinction.
Where are you sitting, Dean? At 77, so you're not far off an award there.
For me, Jeff, there was something competing, and that was the horizon line cutting right through his head. So I think perhaps with a different change of perspective, if the photographer was lower down and that intersection wasn't in such a crucial part of the portrait subject, being the shepherd man, that would have maybe given him a bit more separation from the background. Tonally, he's very much the same as the background, so that might have made him stand out a little bit more. The fact there's a few little dogs following him down that path, I think is lovely. I think that's really wonderful. It's a really strong environmental portrait in that regard, because you get a sense of place and character. And maybe the pose of the gentleman as well, that seemed a bit manufactured to me for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. So I'm still listening though, and happy to hear more.
Amber, you gave this a silver award at 82.
Yeah, I'd go this a solid silver. I really enjoy it as well for the reasons that Jeff has. It's got a timeless feel for me, so it's a bit hard to place exactly what era it was taken in, which I really enjoy. I enjoyed the sepia tone. It's amazing. A little bit more print modelling would be helpful, so to draw your attention right in his face. Yeah, definitely deserving of a silver.
And we have, so Jeff, you'll get the right of reply right at the end here. So everybody wants their turn. So sorry about that. So you had it. You've got some commentary.
Yeah, I was with Dean. I also would really like to see some separation of the dog, not just peeking out from right behind him, just the dog stand on his own. And the thing that really not made me go into silver was that there's some noise, which almost looks like introduced noise up in the top of like in the sky especially, where it's very noticeable, and it's supposed to go with a sepia feel, but it doesn't have the integrity really. So I would revisit that, I think, to work on that.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. Anna.
Yeah, well, I can see that there's great potential, but sometimes you've got to do something a little bit different, not just shoot at however tall you are, 5'2" or 160 centimetres or something. You've got to look at things from a different perspective. And so, yes, it's a nice portrait of this guy, but a few things like the toning hasn't really helped it. The fact that there's been noise added, but only to the sky and not to the whole thing, to give it, like, if it was added to the whole thing, I think it would have given it more of an idea of timeless quality. It could have been done, 100 years ago. It's just it's nearly there, but doesn't quite make it for me.
Thank you, Jeff.
The horizon going through his neckline doesn't worry me at all, because it feels soft, and if you look at it from a reasonable distance and not from 1 foot away, then I think that it actually has a lot of charm and deserves a silver distinction.
Thank you, Jeff. Well put. Okay, so Jeff's going to hold his score at 85. Everybody else is going to rescore, please. Print is currently sitting at 79. Let's see if it's going to shift. The print now scores 81, silver award. Well challenged, Jeff. Thank you. Can I do a judge change, Johannes? Thank you, mate. Don't go too far away. David, can I invite you in? Have a seat. And next print, please. This print scores 79 by majority. And Jeff would like to challenge. Jeff's on 84. Thank you, Jeff.
I just think that the initial impact of this image is fabulous, and black on black is such a lovely way to go. It could do with more detail, and the blacks are almost blocking up, and it's almost like it was just saved, but it needs perhaps a little bit more light, maybe from the sides, just to lift the hair up. But the detail could have been improved, but I think it's a beautiful image, and it needs to be rewarded.
So, David, you've awarded this as silver.
Yeah, it's a really striking image, and it comes around and it gives us. We'll remember this image, and I think that for that alone, I think it deserves. For that alone, I think it deserves to be lifted to a silver. The lighting's very good. It's the detail on the bottom doesn't bother me. It's lit from the top, and I think it should graduate down. So I'm quite happy with that. And colours, and I think to pull out any more shadow detail, I think would have just made it go a bit weird. So I think it's actually quite good.
Great. Anna.
From back here, it's beautiful. I'm sitting on the fence just because, you know, the main focus is on the nose between the eyes, not on the eyes. It would have been lovely to have those whiskers really sharp. But you know, I'm fence sitting, and I hate to bring it down. I really want someone to, you know, help me out here if I'm going to go any further, because you know, I really do love the black on black. I love the yellow eyes. I think that the whole concept and the look is beautiful, but yeah.
Just want to quickly add some value to for the photographer. I was so blown away with the impact when this turned around. I think we all were. So striking, and it's got such re-photographing this and getting a few things right will have massive potential. So please do it again. The subtlety and the detail that you can sort of see through the whiskers is kind of, it's a real tease because there isn't enough detail throughout the whole image, I don't think. Another quick thing, I think the lighting is quite consistent from the back. The way there's this beautiful rim light the whole way around is excellent. We've got a catch light in the right eye, but not the left. We're still in the open category, aren't we? Yeah. So you could have given us a catch light in the other eye. You could have. There's a few different ways you could look at doing that. So just these different levels of finessing are going to make something like this go so well. So please keep with it. I've kept it below silver. I think I can reward it with a score of high professional practice. I'm not quite there to award it a silver award just yet.
Anyone else before we go back to Jeff? Great. Thanks, Jeff.
So you could also consider how good the composition is, and it's perfect as far as I'm concerned. And it's really not about everything else, it's about the eyes, and everything else is just supporting that. So I would recommend that you bring your scores up to at least silver.
Thank you, Jeff. All succinct. So Jeff's holding his score at 84, a very solid silver award. And I'm inviting the other judges to rescore. The print is actually scoring 80, but is 79 by majority. And the print will remain at 79. Worth asking the questions, worth asking. Thank you, everyone. And next print, please. Print scores 80, silver award. Anyone care to provide some thanks, Amber?
I'd like the darkness of both of the subjects' faces to be matched a lot better. The mother is a lot brighter than the baby. And also with the posing, I think if you bring her, I know she's holding a baby, if she bring her elbow away from her body, I think that would be more flattering on the subject's arm.
Thank you. And next print, please. This print scores 85 by majority, silver distinction. Any comments, please? Thank you, Anna.
I think it's wonderful how that whole blue cast has happened and how her eyes are the same colour blue as the duck thing. And the feathers in the background. I would say it's gone too far with the hand, just a bit too much blue on the hand. The face is as cold and perfect, but to me the hand is just bring it up just a little bit. It's just a little dark under there where the duck phoenix bird thingy is holding on to her, where her bracelet is. If you could bring that up, take a little bit of the blue out of the hand, a little bit more of the fabric. It's just a tad too dark, and you'd like to say something too.
Oh, I'm going to go with a cormorant.
Cormorant, that's what it is. I couldn't think of
Is that cool with you guys? If its beak wasn't intersecting with its wing, if it had a bit more separation, but whether there's a frame like that or not, I've never photographed one, so I don't know how hard it is. That would maybe make it a little bit clearer. At first, it was like, what is it? That definitive shape of the beak against the background would have been a little bit better. But yeah, the use of the texture of the feathers of the cormorant in the background is beautiful, and it's a beautiful story, and well done.
Well done. Well done on picking the species. Duck thing, yeah. Great. Let's go next print, please. This print scores 85, silver distinction by majority. Oh, who'd care to comment, please? Anyone? Thank you, Dean.
I'll comment, but I don't have too much value to add. I'm sort of getting this kind of Mexican goddess of death or something. Is that what you guys were kind of reading into that? Because of the place in the cactus and the illustrations on her face, which is death. Yeah, so she's like the gatekeeper to something. I've never been to Mexico, but I really love it. I think it's a beautiful story. It's clear enough and very well put together. Perhaps the saturation in the red on the dress at the top could be toned down to match the subtlety in the bottom, maybe. Yeah, maybe. The composition, the archway and everything really works for it really well. So, yeah, excellent and well done.
Great feedback. Right. Judge change. So, Jeff, thank you very much. Have a rest. And Nathan, if you could sneak into the chair. Was that the same chair you had before? That's Nathan's chair. Great. Have a seat. Okay. Let's reset our eyeballs, everybody, and focusing on the next print, please. Okay. Thank you, judges. This print scores 81, silver award. Who's our astro nude body expert? Thank you, Anna.
Look, it's a great concept, but the posing of the body, like if she's reaching up, like really wanting to reach up into the cosmos, her body is just not telling me that. There's no arch in the back. There's no she's not, the only thing that's reaching is her hand. The rest of her is like not really interested at all. So I think that the pose of the female needs to have more. She needs to have more of a desire to reach the heavens, not just her hand just up, sort of like, yeah, whatever. So, I'd love you to revisit this and just, see if you've got any more poses and it doesn't matter if it's really sensuous. I mean, we can cope with that.
I just want to add, I did see the Dreamcatcher tattoo on her leg to find a model that's got that there. So we did see that, but it did still fall flat because of the foot and then how it just got lost in the bottom part of the thing. So just to put you at ease. Again, beautiful concept. Keep going with that.
Yep, great feedback and plenty to consider. Thank you. Next print, please. Okay, this print comes in at 82, silver award. And we have a challenge from David. Thank you, David.
Okay. This is exactly what we should be doing if we've got the opportunity in corporate portraiture, and I do a lot of corporate portraiture. You get 2 minutes for this guy, and this person's come up with such a powerful, strong image in what's a really simple setting. It's an amazing print. And for once, vignetting has worked beautifully on this. I've heard so many comments, I'm sick of the dark vignetting. This is really done well, and I think we should be championing this photograph and for what it is. And it's something that will be in the boardroom for years to come, framed beautifully, and it's a great photo.
I'm going to go with either Dean or Anna, because you guys are up there as well.
Yeah.
So Anna, you've given this an 86. So you've got friends.
I've got to
friend
tell
for
you,
David.
if I was a criminal, this would scare the bejesus out of me, this guy. But, and the vignetting, yeah, it's a little bit dark, but then this is he's got a dark job, you know, crime commission, you know, blah, blah, blah. But have a look at the wood on the right-hand side. There's a face that is mimicking him with its big nose, and it's like his spirit animal is there in the wood behind him, mimicking him, and that's so fantastic. The only reason I haven't gone up to a gold is that I can't see his fingers. I want to see all of his hands and some of his hands, because hands are so important in this sort of a thing. But I think it's absolutely deserving of a silver distinction.
So, Nathan, you're not quite there.
As soon as I punched this number in, I felt bad for the number I punched in. The impact is so strong, and I settled in high professional practice because I thought it's a corporate shot. And honestly, it should have more depth of field to have that Corruption Crime Commission really readable. And so I sacrificed a silver judgment for it. So I'll just give you my issues, David, but I'm definitely coming straight up to silver, and I'm really interested in silver distinction for all of the things you guys have mentioned. It is a really powerful portrait. My issues were the fingers, the lack of depth, and the distortion of that circle of the top logo there. It tells me that it was a quick shot with a wide lens or something like that, which told me documentary or commercial. And so I don't know whether we need to sacrifice it for that, because the impact is very strong. So I'm really talking it up, not down here, but those are my only two issues.
Thanks, Dean. You'd like to add?
Just really quickly, I think it could be, you could probably bring out a bit more sharpness in the face and the detail in the hand. So from a specific technical improvement going to AIPPP, maybe that's something that you could look at doing. But I completely agree with the strength of it all. The little evil characters, like the little voice in his, I thought he's like an evil devil on his shoulder, the little owl picture in the background. But we also use owls as wisdom in the judgmental sort of system anyway. I'm sure I've seen some reference between there. So for those little extra elements, yeah, I can come to distinction, I reckon.
You'll get a right of reply, of course.
Yeah, I haven't awarded this a silver at all. So I think if that face is in the background, I don't think the author has intended it to be there. I think it's an accidental thing. And if we're judging this as a corporate portrait, I definitely would like that text to be more readable. It's blurring way too much. And I also find his tie is a lot sharper than his face. So yeah, for those technical aspects, I've left it out of silver. Thanks.
David.
This is corporate portraiture of the highest level, and we should be rewarding this as a silver distinction. Even styling's done really well. Look at the cuffs; they're both sitting perfectly on that bench nicely. There's all the little details that wasn't accidental. This photographer's thought about this and had no time. You don't have time to do this photograph. I guarantee you, it would have been a shot that you've had to pre-plan, pre-set up, and got the person in place and styled it really well, and they've done it really well. So I like the fact that it's out of focus in the background. I think that actually adds to it. We can read what it's about, and it brings the emphasis back on the subject rather than the background. So I think we should be awarding a silver distinction.
Excellent. Wealth of discussion to consider there, folks. So, David, you will hold your score at 87. Silver Distinction Award. Judges are entering their scores as we speak. This image is now 85. Silver Distinction. Next print, please. Judges. Right, the sprint comes in at the magical figure of 84, silver award, solid silver. Anyone to provide comment? Thank you, Dean. Oh, no,
We can share.
to Anna.
And the foot's muddy, you know, there's a little bit of a printing problem down in the bottom left. And I'm not sure that it's good that we know it's on grass. I wonder if it'd be better if it was in black and white so that we didn't know it was on grass. Because it's kind of distracting. I know that's been a bit, you know, like, it's on grass. But it has distracted me.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but the other way. If it's on grass, it's environmental, there's something going on, so why is there nothing in the background? So one or the other. So give us a little bit of detail and sense of place. The actual capture is so worth rewarding and awarding, and I'm glad we did, because the timing and the way that the dress is and the way it's lit, emphasising all of that, the sense of movement, but it's perfectly sharp, that's all brilliant, and that's why it got a silver, but it could go better. So use that as encouragement moving forward. Photographer,
Sounds
well done.
great. Lots of nods there too, so thank you, everyone. Next print, please. There you go. Scores are coming in. Scores are looking good. We have a image here at 91, gold award. Right. Who wants to gloat over this gold? Anyone? Anyone? Challenge, thank you.
Look, if we're all on 90 straight out of the bat, then maybe we scored it a little bit low. I'll be quick, but I gave it a 92. I'll be slow, we'll all talk. I gave it a 92, and I was a bit shy, but what we're looking at is, you know, it's immaculate printing and presentation, so that's fine, but we've got a really strong story of humanity and of an age long gone, which is the age of the early sciences. The early belief in the technologies and science and invention of man, and he's using some of these tools to really highlight his own humanity. We've got an aging human trusting in all the tools around him, and the look in his eyes is both wide-eyed, fearful, and trusting and confident, and it's a really interesting look that goes together really well. And I think that we gave it 90 because of the print, but maybe there's a lot more story in this that should put it higher.
Thank you, Annie. Well, you're up there, so...
Yeah, Dean. Oh, thanks. Look, he could be Copernicus, he could be any of those amazing figures from the past of discovery and exploration when we didn't know if the world was flat or round, and people were getting, you know, burned at the stake practically for things like that. And what really adds to, I don't care what he's doing, I think it's fantastic. He probably didn't, you know, they probably didn't know what they were doing, and some of these amazing geniuses just sort of hit on stuff. But you've got all this fantastic old, I think it might be Greek or whatever in the background, but Latin, thank you. What is really great is the halo that is happening. So he's like a god or a saint. So, you know, the godlike quality of using all these contraptions and learning things like how far away the sun was and whether we were going around it. And, you know, it's just giving me, you know, and his eyes, he's a little bit mad. And I think you've got to be a little bit mad to be a genius. And all of those things, I'm really taken back into that sort of scene and how wonderful it would have been to be one of these crazy mad old codgers and to actually discover something phenomenal.
Thanks, Dean. You gave it 90. Is that where it should sit?
At least. If the photographer's here, can you tell me what the thing is in the background? I'm just really curious. I'm not sure if any of us know exactly what it is. Does anyone know what it is? No, I'd love to know. But it just fits so well. I don't have heaps to add. He's just, crazy mad scientist, awesome steampunky kind of dude. I think one of the things that I really loved about it was the restraint. You could easily elaborate this and have too many props and too much staging and go over the top, but I really think that hasn't been done. There's a real artistry to the storytelling and restraint and complex simplicity. Is that a real thing? There's complex enough to have a story, but it's done so beautifully, simply well with a lot of care taken to it. So that's why it was an immediate gold. And I continue to love it the more I see it. So well done.
Yeah. So, David, you're at 92, so you're...
Yeah,
well
I mean,
within
I
the realm.
love this photograph and I love the print. I probably anything that stops me going higher is I don't get the props. It just feels a little bit like the props are thrown in there without, there's not a connection with the props of why they're there, and I'm not getting it, so that's why I haven't scored higher. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. That stops me going to gold distinction. Yeah.
Emma, do you have any concerns with the print?
So obviously it is an impeccable print. It's amazing. I did keep it out of gold because I am confused about the story, and I still am slightly confused about the story. So the props, they look amazing, but, what exactly do they do, and what is the prop in the background? So, that was my concerns about keeping it out of gold.
So, Nathan, can you unconfuse the confused?
Yeah, look, I'm stuck on 92 because I challenged. And I really do feel like this needs to go higher. And I can explain all of these things. Before I do, I'm going to point out just another couple of elements which I'm really enjoying, which is a wedding ring on his finger telling us a whole history that this man is lovable enough to marry and to do the regular life, even though he's definitely in this world and he's on his own. His nails are long and unkept, which also tells us an authentic story of his whole life, which, and just how he sees his passions. Anyway, the props are what's getting us all, and the props are what contributes to everything. In the background, we've got this very mechanical set of scales, which is measurements, which is... back then, it's just measuring weights. It's getting precise judgments on little things. So what we're seeing reflected in the character in every prop is also a measurement. It's a measurement of the performance of humanity and of himself. It's measuring his eyesight, how good each eye is, this breathing apparatus, this hearing apparatus. It's all actually coinciding to measuring the level and performance of humanity. The only thing breaking all of that is that there's also music and lyrics on that back measurement page, which also speaks of measuring the output of the creative side of a human. And I think it does flow really well, and yet it's not shouting it into our face, which is why it's so muted in the background. So I think as far as we've talked about it in Already Gold, it's something that everyone seeing this will talk about for a long time. I think we can rest into this image for a long time and feel something in ourselves as well. So I'm encouraging a very, very high gold for this, if you all agree.
Right. Thank you. And well articulated, everybody. So if we rescore, please. So the print is currently sitting at 91. And Anna, this print is now at 93, a gold award. Thank you, everyone. Let's go to the next print, please. Thank you, everyone. This print scores 80 by majority, silver award. Emma, would you like to comment, please?
Yeah, great score. Well done. For me, I just keep on getting distracted by the lightest part of the image, which is her curvy bum. So, sorry, it's really loud. Very brave having so much negative space. I think that works, but as a portrait, you really need to direct where you want to look at. If it's at the bum, I don't think that's really hitting the mark.
Anna, you're going to throw a quick one.
Just quickly, the use of that space is great, but it's, we've got no expression. The lighting has totally let it down. If it was lit well and we had a bit of expression, as well as, like, we can see despair in the body, but we can't see enough of what's going on. We just see a nice ass. So, do it again. Use that big space. I can say ass.
She said ask.
Yes, I did. That's what I said. Go with that concept and, get yourself a really, really good mark.
Excellent. Thank you. Right. Let's go next. Let's go next print, please. If you're ready to go. So, guys, we're going to transverse from portrait open. Or do they need a break? It's a new. We're going to the new same category, but we're going to. Cool. So this is now portrait single capture, but I have internal server error currently. So. Apologies, folks. So we are now entering the portrait single capture stage. Does anybody need to stretch their legs? Anna, you've been on there for a while. Do you need a? You okay? Yeah, might have to give you. Okay, that's it. Poker face is back on. We're going into portrait single capture. If we can have our first print, please. Thank you, guys. Thank you, folks. This print scores 65, and I'd like some constructive feedback for the photographer, please. Anyone? Thank you, Amber.
The clarity isn't there in this image, which I think is why we've all left it out of professional standard. It's a nighttime image, which is obviously tricky, but yeah, a lot of grain.
And Nathan, thank you.
Well, the resounding feature of this, and maybe this is what the photographer saw, shot on whatever they shot it on, is the characters. And it's kind of an Andy Warhol kind of print image just on that little bit, this polar kind of zero exposure control. And it feels quite good. And a series of that, just enhancing all the colours and nothing else, could be like a fun creative endeavour. But as far as a photographic print, the things that Amber said.
Thanks, Nathan. Good constructive feedback. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, folks. This print scores 79 by majority. And Amber is going to challenge. Thank you, Amber. And 84.
Yes, I'm going to challenge. This is definitely deserving of a silver. Black and white is awesome just to start off with. Sharp in absolutely all the right places, right down his arm in the front of his chest. It's sharpness where it needs to be. I love the shadow on the wall. The expression of the child is just amazing. The tones in the print are brilliant. Can't think of any reason why this is not an award.
Anna, you like this print too at 83?
I did. I love it. It's an old-fashioned Batman costume, but to me, the shadow on the wall is the duplicity of Batman's nature. You know, there's Bruce Wayne and there's Batman, and so you're seeing that. So I think that's very, very important and done on purpose. It's not just a shadow on a wall. It's Bruce Wayne, Batman, Batman, Bruce Wayne. And he's owning it. Look at him. Look at that little serious face. He's owning that Batman costume. Like, absolutely. And it's simple, but it's, you know, it's got complexity to it too.
I think I see this one a little bit differently. I'm confused as to why he's sitting down on a chair. If he's Batman and he's trying to stand there and be proud or strong and give us that sort of feeling, which the lighting's doing, being so directional. You're like, okay, it's strong. Then the pose with the hands on the hips, I kind of get that. But he's sitting down, and I just don't think that fits for me. Also, having his face so strongly turned away from the light leaves us with no connection to his eyes. They're completely void and dead of light, which is just really disappointing. It's not the sort of thing that makes an image for me be considered for an award standard.
Thank you, mate. David?
Yeah, I think this image has potential. It's a great idea, but it just hasn't quite been pulled off. I agree, sitting down doesn't work for me. It should be standing strong. The silhouette should actually be something interesting, and it's just a blob. Like the Batman or a bat or something would work so much better. And as far as focus, yeah, there is focus on the arm, but the face is just ever so slightly not quite in focus. So there's just too much going wrong to be giving it a silver.
Cool. Sure. So, Amber, you have a right to apply at 84. Please proceed.
Yeah, so for me, he's not a hero. He's just really shy, innocent, vulnerable child. And I think that's what the image is trying to portray, that he'd, love to be a superhero, but he's just struggling. He isn't taking off like Batman. He's sitting down. He's got a really shy and quiet expression on his face. So that's what I saw in the image. That's also why he's, turned away from the light, because he's, struggling with getting into that persona of Batman. An award for sure. Just a few more points and we got it.
Sure can be if we think. So, Amber's sitting at 84 and will remain there. Can everybody else please rescore? The image is currently sitting on 80, or a score of 79 by majority. So the scores are coming in, and it remains at 79 by majority. Thank you. So I think we've discussed with plenty of feedback on that. I think we're going to move on. Thank you, everyone. And next print, please. Thank you, judges. The sprint score's 73. And I'll offer the voluntary comments, please. Thank you, Dean.
I just don't think the colour's really working. So you the photography here's pushed some limits, and sometimes you do that and as a reward, and it benefits the image and the print as a whole. But that's not happening for us 5 today. It's just sort of just really not there. Sitting in a kind of low-level, average professional practice is sort of where this belongs.
Thank you, folks. Okay, next print, please. Oh no, last thing. Thank you, judges. SME scores 81, silver award. Thanks, Dean.
I wanted to like it a lot more because it's so quirky. So, yeah, really well done. I'm quite happy and content that I got a silver. I think that's great. It could definitely be improved. There's some real inconsistencies in the skin tones on the mum from above the baby and below the baby. She looks like a completely different person with the colour of her skin. It's probably the way the light's fallen, but can you correct that in the open category? You can do stuff like that, can't you? That's all right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. So I love that. So a beautiful little documentary of shortly after the baby's been born. I love that mum's still got the compression dealies on her legs. But the dad's face is probably a bit too dark. It would have been nice to have a little bit more light in there. He's obviously facing away from the light, but you can boost that a little bit. To get a bit more of his expression would be really good. But I love that it's a busy scene, but not too busy. I think all the little details are kind of nice.
Fantastic. Great feedback. Thank you. Right, next print, please. Print scores 77, high professional practice, and I'm going to look for voluntary comments, please. What can be done? Thank you, Dean. What can be done to lift this to, if possible, an award image?
It's a sweet little portrait. So professional practice, I get that. Maybe it's a bit warm. I think there's a bit of a warmth that could be toned down a little bit. And I'm not 100% sure we're really sharp through the focal point in the eyes as well, either, whether that's been made up or not. The way she's relating to the subject is a bit maybe contrived, and in a way, is she interacting with it, or is she looking at the camera posing for a portrait? Don't know, so just below award level, but lovely.
Nathan, very quickly.
Look, if that was darkened so far down that she's only lit by that iPhone, then that would tell a whole different story. But we'd have to talk about that when it turns around.
I'll ask Anna for a comment, but she's got a mouthful. Okay, I'd like to do a judge change. Thank you, Nathan. Great comments. Have a rest. Thanks, Johannes, if you come in and join us. Make yourself at home. All right. All good? Let's go. Next print, please.
The entry has scored 82, a silver award. Well done. Could I ask for a comment? Yeah, Amber, thank you.
Yeah, well done. This is a beautiful image. This is exactly how this man's family would want to remember him. Not all polished and everything. This is how, where he hangs out and what he looks like every day. I love the little Zimmer frame in the back, in the foreground. That's awesome. Just a little bit more darkening around the outside to bring the attention onto the man in the ute. That would be awesome.
Great comments. Thanks, Amber. Okay, next print. Thank you. And the entry has scored 71. Okay, I will accept that score. And I ask for a comment from Anna. Thank you, Anna.
I can really see where this is going. Like, I can see this. This is very sort of fashion art gallery. Like it's just in the wrong awards. There's somewhere that this is really like this is New York Art Gallery sort of stuff. But but it just needs more. You just got to really smash it to it, make us think outside the square. And you really, I think you're on a really good track here. It's one that's going to be very controversial at APA, but I'd work with it.
Close. I gave it a 77, and I actually think there's much more in this image than you could write it off so quickly. But there's a lot more. Go back and have a look at some old film images and stuff, and yeah, you're very close on this, but not quite.
Brilliant. That's great feedback for the entrant, that's for sure. Okay, next print, please. The scores are in, and the entry has scored 77. Okay, if I could ask for a comment from Amber.
Thank you. Yeah, cropping in this image would help a lot. The brightest part of the image is the bottom of the costume there, so I don't think that's necessary. Crop in from the bottom. And yeah, a little bit of darkening of the shoulder to bring the face out. And also, I don't think it's exactly sharp on the eyes, which is really important for a portrait.
Well, thanks, Amber. What I'll do is, Nathan, can you pop into the spot over there for Dean, and we'll give him a little break. Okay, next print, please. entry has scored 77. Okay, I am going to accept that score and ask for a comment from David. Thank you.
I think the image had great potential, but it's just been it's a great photograph and the expression is amazing. And when it comes straight around, you wanna champion, but the sharpening is just unbelievable, and the teeth. So just get all those technical things right and print it completely differently, and you've got a winner. It's I wanted to give it a low silver, but when I sat back and after I put the score in, I just thought maybe I was a little generous because of the technical problems. So.
Thanks, David. Now, Dean, can I invite you back into judge number 5 spot? And thank you, Nathan, for filling in for me. And could I have a blank screen, please? Okay, we've just had a judge change, welcoming Lisa Vandich to the panel and Dean Mainsbridge back. Okay, next print, please. And we have a 80 by majority, a silver award. Excellent. And some feedback, Johannes?
I really enjoyed the man in this image. There's a couple of things that, like, look at the white shoe. The white shoe really jumped out. That's the first thing I saw. Bring that down, darken that, and crop the top and the bottom. Like, you don't have to stick to the camera ratio when you present your images. You can crop them to show us what is important, and don't have too much clutter around if you can avoid it, unless you want to show clutter in the story.
As this is a portrait that you've set up, take the dog's collar off. That kind of really looks terrible. And just a few styling things could have been done a little contrived and could have been done a little bit better.
Great, thanks, David, and thanks for the feedback. Okay, next print, please. Okay, the entry is scored 76, and I will accept that score and ask for some comment. Dean, thank you.
I think the subject's just way too bright, unfortunately. Like, it's a beautiful environment. I think that's been handled in lots of areas quite well, and the way the brighter light hits the foliage or the ground cover, the stuff on the ground, looks really nice. So I encourage you to explore this area and this location, even at this time of day again. I'm not sure if it's the fact that the subject's maybe really pale, and maybe that's why the highlights are blown out so much. You can't see any sort of detail in the skin. Potentially even cropping it down to get rid of the blueness part of the sky. That could make it a bit stronger as well in future captures. So yeah, keep going, but not quite at award standard today.
Beauty, thanks, Dean. Okay, next print, please. We're judging the portrait single capture, sponsored by KL Canson. And just reminding everyone that we do have our students who are raising money for their upcoming exhibition. They do take credit card, so yeah, it'd be really nice to support them. They're waiting out there for you to pick up a bag of homemade goodies. And the entry has scored 78. We do have one of our judges sitting in 80, but generally we're all sitting around the good professional practice range. And David, if you could comment.
I think it would be more interesting if the cloth was right across the whole image. I find those two folds in the cloth kind of really distracting. I'd like to see both eyes and the cloth just kind of a veil, kind of behind, sort of looking through that veil would be more interesting. A few different ways you could have done this. It's close, but it's just not quite there.
Good, thanks, David. Next print, please. We have a silver award, 80. Okay, and there's some comment. Amber, thank you.
Yeah, beautifully styled image. For me, there's just too much focus on the underarms of the model. So the colour underneath her arms, if that was more monotone, I think that would really help to bring the attention more to her face and her hair, which is amazing. So, yeah, good work.
And yeah, everyone's nodding, so you can't see that out in live stream land, but yep, we see it here. If you're in the audience, you'd see that. Yeah. Now I have a judge change. Amber, thank you for your great work and great commentary. And Jeff Fisher, I would invite you back to the panel. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, as we're getting settled, we'll ask for the next print, please. The entry has scored 86, silver with distinction. And you can challenge. We have Jeff Fisher, who has scored the image 90. And I'm going to accept your challenge, Jeff, since you were so eager to put your hand up. And take it away.
Well-
Jeff, just to let you know, you do have some company. David is on 88. You have Johannes is on, so you've got some company.
Well, I think at 90 I might have robbed it because this is a perfect image. And I can't see where you can detract from it. It's believable, that's the main thing. And there's nothing in there that suggests that it wasn't something from a period piece like a long time ago. I think it's so well done and it's so beautifully lit. I love the modelling in the face. The lighting is exquisite, and I defy you to pull it down.
In support, I'd like to ask for a comment. Yes, David, firstly, thank you.
Absolutely stunning image, perfectly printed, perfectly lit, beautifully printed. Probably for me, if I have to bring one negative in, I don't really want to bring too much negative into the conversation, but probably just the dark background kind of. I probably would like to have seen something to give it a bit more depth, like as far as the background goes, it's just black. But it's very, very nice, and I could probably be convinced to move a couple more points and give it a gold, but it just needs a bit more discussion.
Thanks, David. Sort of down on the other end, we have Dean. You've scored at 84. Comment?
Yeah, it's. I really think it's been technically beautifully well handled. Like, it's incredibly well lit and all of those things that Jess said as well. I think I was left just wondering a little bit more exactly what you said, Dave. I think the background, it's sort of as an homage to an older sort of painting style. I felt like it probably would have had a little bit of context or some sort of texture or something in the background that might have just made it fit. It's kind of like has a painterly aesthetic, but when you get up close, it's so perfectly photographed and so perfectly digitally retouched and so perfectly printed that it's a bit more perfect than painterly. So maybe that sort of is what kept me down there as well. And I thought as a painting, maybe on a sort of a more matte sort of fine art paper stock as opposed to something with a bit of sheen in it might have been better. It's harder to print with all the detail in the blacks that you've retained in this beautiful paper, so that's hard as well. So I was sort of sitting on the fence there, but I'm really happy to hear more and talk about it because I really think it deserves to be talked about.
Okay. Actually, Lisa, if I could hear from you.
Yeah. I would just thank you for challenging Jeff. I really want to talk about this one, and I'd just like to remind my fellow judges we are in single image capture. So the photographer has not only done this one, they have taken total attention to detail to have every single piece in place because they could not fix a hair afterwards. None of that has been allowed. So this has been perfectly captured in camera. There's been no cloning, no adding of texture in the background. The background isn't completely black. It's a slight hint of a deep green, which beautifully complements the oranges and the regal blues in this image. I actually think I'm coming up towards gold here on not only is it a beautifully crafted image, should it be in open, the fact that it's single image capture for me has just taken it up that little extra level.
Thanks, Lisa. We're talking about a gold here, so Johannes?
Yes, I was quite low for this on 83. I just got distracted that there's some banding around, like a halo kind of banding on the print that kept me from going higher. I would have been higher because it's got this beautiful religious feel, great posing, everything sits really well. That's really the only thing that kept me from going higher, and I might probably been a bit too harsh there.
Thanks. And Jeff, if you could sum it up?
Having looked at it a bit longer, I feel as though I've robbed it. I definitely have robbed it. It should have been 95. I don't think the black background is a problem. Well, if there's a bit of green in it, I didn't see it, and that could be my colour blindness or something. I just think that it deserves gold, and I'd encourage you to bring it up a little bit, enough to get there.
Well, Jeff, you'll hold your score on 90, and I'll invite your fellow judges to rescore. And we have a gold award, 90. Oh, great challenge there, Jeff, and good moving of scores, judges. Okay, next print, please. Okay, and a silver award at 81. Oh, yes, and well done to the entrant. And Dean, yes.
I had it just under, but congratulations and well done. The top of his hat's the brightest part of the image. We talk about this all the time, so if we can tone that down and bring it in. You could maybe crop tighter. I wonder if it had more space on the left as opposed to the right, what the feeling would have been. We're looking from the left to the right is how we read images, and we're fading away to nowhere. So I wonder if that could be improved. But again, congratulations, well done.
Good comment. Okay. Right, next print, please. And the entry has scored 79. And we have a challenge from Johannes. Thank you. I'll accept your challenge. And just to let you know that everyone else is sitting in the high professional practice range.
Okay, this is a different image. This is a portrait of the unborn baby. That's not even there, but that's underneath, because that's where the light goes. That's where the photographer wants us to look first, because it's as much an image of the mother as it is of the unborn baby. I would have gone higher if probably she wouldn't have worn a bra. That's kind of a little bit distracting, but the blues and the oranges, that works really well together. It's single capture. It's got got a really nice balance to it. Yeah, would really like what stopped you from going into the silvers.
Okay, David, if you could, you're sitting around everyone else on 77.
Yeah. Really wanted to love this image. It's came around, I thought, yeah, it's silver straight away. I love the concept, the golden light on the belly and the blue, and it kind of works pretty well. Posing's a bit awkward. Why underwear, and particularly the bra? I mean, she would have looked amazing naked. You could have darkened down, the bit private parts below, so we didn't. But just the underwear and everything just looks messy, and particularly the bra. I mean, yeah. So I think as a contemporary image, it doesn't work because of the underwear. So.
Dean.
Expand on what David said. Oh, exactly the same. I thought, turned around and thought, oh, this is cool. She looks like she's fallen asleep for some reason on the couch. I wonder why. Still don't have that reason. The light source, what's that? I get that it's highlighting the pregnancy. I sort of thought, oh, maybe it's either a phone and she's gone to sleep and it's that, or it's probably a reading light. She's probably gone to sleep on the couch reading a book, and that's a reading light. There's no sense of a book. Her head's very uncomfortably kind of poised there. We can't see what she's leaning back on, so it looks like she's leaning back on nothing. So just not reading into that part of the story enough. That's my other reasons for keeping it below the award range.
Yeah, and a quick comment from Jeff, actually.
To say is that this could have been all shot with a blue available light and a slightly different angle, and we would celebrate the shape without being too obvious about it, because I really love that blue look, and maybe cropping in with a slightly different composition.
I just
Lisa?
wanted to give in some commentary from someone who's actually been pregnant. Sitting back here, the same deal. I wanted to really love this image, and I went up there expecting to see an exhausted mother in, 35-degree heat of summer, sitting on the couch going, I'm pregnant still, and I'm too hot, and I'm a bit sweaty, and I'm taking all my clothes off, and I'm still too hot. I'm wearing my slightly uncomfortably fitting bra because that's all I can put on at the moment. But she's not. She's sitting there, and she's got the blue light of the TV perhaps that's on her, but she's posing, and she's neat and she's tidy. So that story wasn't there. And then there was the light on the belly, but it just doesn't. It's like there's 3 different stories, but none of them are quite there. So I love the concept. Revisit, pick one, and roll with it, and it'll do really, really well.
Great feedback to the entrant, for sure.
Yeah, I want to encourage the photographer to reshoot that too without underwear. Yeah, I also really like about it. There's 2 images in one. The head that's a bit like, she looks like a model. It's like a model face with the light on her, a little bit like a mannequin almost. That's still her old life before we become a mom, and because this is a pregnancy portrait, so there's the old life and the light shines on to the new life. That's where we're gonna go. Which she has no clue about how hard that's going to be. But yeah, so that's all wrapped up in this very stylish image, because the chair and the model face, that ties in really well together with the blue. And then we got that orange light that points us into the direction of where the baby's going to be.
Beautiful.
So I think it's silver for that.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Good sum up, Johannes. Okay, you hold your score, and I'll invite our judges to rejudge. And we have a score of 79. It was really good encouragement, yeah. On that note, Johannes, I might invite you to leave the panel, even though that was a very good challenge. Don't take it to heart, because the beautiful Anna Blackman is about to join us. Rejoin us, yes. Yeah, here she comes. Okay, next print, please. And we have a silver award, 81. Lovely. 3 of our judges sitting in comfortably in the 80s. Anna, if you could comment.
This is just so real, you know. It's and you know, you could say, oh, it's shot in the middle of the day, but you know, it's the Australian iconic sunshine. It's just, it's Moran Portrait Prize sort of stuff. It's there's nothing I'd like to change about it. Actually, I just think it's just got that raw, real summer Australian feel to it. I love the beer cans and and the hat, and this is a great life this guy they're leading. I live in the dream, love. Thanks.
Beauty. Okay. Thank you. Next print, please. Oh, you've got it, Jeff. Okay, the entry has scored 78. We've got all our judges sitting in that high professional practice, and Jeff's just snuck it into the silver range. Yeah, Jeff.
It's actually got a lot going for it, but the wrought iron does take over the image, and I gave it a bare silver, but I would just like to see just the background a little bit out of focus by bringing her forward or something. And I like the fact that not everything's been taken out on her arm. There are a few little spots here and there, which is just her. We tend to make everyone perfect, and I just think it's quite beautiful, actually.
Thanks, Jeff. And Anna.
This is not just for this print. This is a bit of an overall comment I've got for portrait, in that once you bring the environment in, you've got to be very careful that the environment is actually saying something about the subject, not taking over from the subject. And I think that this is what's gone wrong here. So just be aware of that, everyone out there in cyberspace land.
Very good. Okay. I like that one. It's something for us to remember, all us portrait photographers. Okay, next print, please. Entry has scored 83, silver award. And all our judges are agreeing that this is a silver. David, thank you.
I can't really see too much to improve the actual. Sorry, I can't actually see too much to improve the actual image presented to us, but it could have been a lot quirkier with like an old mechanical camera or a large format camera or something, just kind of to give that kind of like remote control with a camera that wouldn't have had a remote control. Just something a little bit more interesting, but it's really nice. It's a pretty image, yeah.
And
Going to add, I was trying to look at the lens to see if it was like a fisheye or a wide angle, because I was trying to work out why was she completely nude when it seems like it might only be capturing her face.
Yeah.
But it could be. I couldn't tell. She's now. She's like, yeah. But it's. I love the idea. It's awesome.
yeah, excellent. Okay, well done. Next print, please. And we have an 80, a silver award. Anna.
What a fantastic face. You need to reprint this because we can't have, we've got the eye in focus, beautiful, the mouth out of focus, and then we've got focus on the jumper in the foreground, which we don't want to have. We want that out of focus in the foreground, and we want to do something with the background too because there's black blobs. So if we can just get that face coming out at us, it'd be magnificent.
Beautiful. Okay, next print, please. And as the scores wing their way in, our entry has scored 78. And we have got some comments to offer here. Let's do it. Anna, David.
I got angry. The white blob. What is going on with that? I mean, I guess it's a leg, but without that white blob, it was a silver all the way for me, and I just couldn't come back here and score it. It just because my eye just goes to that, and it's such a great concept, and it's a really good solid image. Yeah.
It's a white boot. And look, there's when we learn how to do photography, us old chicks and blokes, we know that everything you've done is wrong here. There's so many things that you've done that are not correct for portrait, but it doesn't matter. Whoever you are, you're on a track, this art house track that is fantastic. Don't worry about us not quite getting it because you're so close to being there. You've broken a whole lot of rules. I'm loving it. I've got goosebumps. I'm loving that idea so much. So, I just want you to keep on pushing and don't get discouraged because just don't get discouraged.
Lisa.
I believe, looking at my screen, the photographer actually cropped this boot out on the digital. Oh. If you had done that on the print, woohoo! They're meant to be the same, but.
Okay, well, we've offered 3 lots of comments, so there's a lot of interest in this image, in your image. So great information to take on board by the photographer. Okay, Let's move on. Next print. Okay, I just want to remind everyone that our Epson prize draw is going to be closing soon, so you've got to get your little lucky door prize thing filled in. You may as well not even bother though, because I filled mine in and I have got them all right, I think. Maybe I might have missed one or two, but yeah, maybe don't even bother because I could be the winner. But yes, that will be closing soon. And oh, lots of prizes. There are lots of prizes on it. Okay. As our scores come in for this image, we're on the portrait single capture, sponsored by KL Canson. And we have our scores, 79. We have 79, and we're going to have a challenge by Lisa Ivandich.
Oh,
I
and we
will
even have my name.
accept that.
So Lisa Ivanovic, she sees something in this portrait, and I implore you judges to have another look. Now, this is a young man, whether he's somewhere between the ages of 17 to 23, I'm not sure, but he's in that classically almost awkward yet at times highly arrogant stage. And it is a very hard age to photograph, show their true personality, and sort of do it justice. And this guy is confident. He's staring down the camera. It's fairly high key and bright. I like that. He's got his hair done. He's got his mo. I'm sorry, young man. He's still trying to get it a little bit thicker, but he's still proud of it. He's still proud of it. He's out there. There are a few printing issues, yes, so I can see that's why it would not be, you know, a very high silver distinction or anything like that. But I think this definitely deserves a second look and a silver. The engagement and the beautiful capture of this young man at what I think is often the awkward before we're our solid in ourselves man age is just really, really well handled. I'd love to hear your comments.
Great. Okay. Well, you did have someone else with a bit of company. So, but Dean, you were on 77. Still
Yep.
good professional practice.
Yeah, and that's where I thought it was when I saw this. I'm like, that's professional practice. That's the sort of thing studio photographers pump out every day of the week for every client that comes in. There's nothing wrong with it. Is there anything there to push it into, hey, this stands out from more than just a professional practice and this deserves an award? For me, no. I think perhaps this character could have been photographed using a different lighting technique with that pose. It's quite strong and stuff like that, but the light's just so flat. Perhaps just the use of one key light would have mirrored the pose a little bit better. Or the other way, if you go sort of light-hearted, maybe that expression doesn't match that lighting. So I think it's important to approach every portrait and photograph them the way that they're going to look their best, especially if we're trying to elevate beyond professional practice and into award range.
Okay. I'm going to ask for your right of reply, Lisa.
Yeah, I would just like to reiterate, for me, there is something in that expression and the engagement with the photographer and the strength. And I quite like the high key because it's drawing me into his eyes and I'm not going anywhere else. Yeah, I'll just leave that there. I implore you to come up to a silver for me.
Okay, you will hold your score on 84, and I'll invite our judges to rescore. And the entry has scored 79. Okay, next print, please. And we have a silver award, 81. Very solid judging here. Yeah, Lisa, we have you on 85, but no chance to challenge.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to say to the photographer, I really love this portrait. I can read a lot into this. It really moves me, but I would love to see it without such a strong blue cast. If you print that down a little bit cleaner whites and it's just the hints of the pinks and the child coming through, you know, as a mother of teens and tweens, well, not quite teens yet, but this I felt a bit when I saw this portrait. So there was the sniffles, there was the, you know, that kids these days have some heightened anxiety. So this is really reflecting that feeling. So just distracted by those blues, and I think if you did that, it might do something well at APPA. Well done.
We are all in agreement
And single
here.
image capture, brilliant.
Beautiful. Okay, well done to the photographer. Next print, please. And the print has scored 76. Okay, I'm going to accept that score. And let's have a comment from any of our... Jeff.
I do like the shape of it. I love it that it's in black and white. I love the face. We don't have to see the eyes, but it generally is soft, but there's a little bit too much detail around the mouth. And I'd rather see that softened a little bit as well. And the greys are a little bit flat in the top part of the picture.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, next print, please. That's really good. Okay. And we have a silver with distinction, 85. Good solid scores all round. And yeah, well done to the photographer. And a comment from Dean. Thank you.
I think we all love this, didn't we, guys? It's really striking, so well crafted. And positioned and cropped so meticulously perfectly for what is a single image capture. Maybe if the skin tones in her chest, breast area matched her face, married in a little bit closer. If you look from a distance, certainly you can see that the coloration in that skin's different to the skin above in her face and the skin below in her hands. So perhaps if that was improved a little bit, it could go higher. But I love it. And the headdress, I saw these little scary little faces in their headdress that were like captured souls by this evil. I was really reading into it. And yeah, the little fingernails. Do you want red in the nails?
Redden them a little bit.
Redden them a little bit.
But you can change the colour.
the little detail of the fingernails was a wonderful little detail that I really liked when I saw it. It gave her that little bit more sense of evilness because they were like claws. They were claw-like. So, yeah, really well put together. Well done and congratulations.
Thank you, Dean. You had your little the devil's in your ear there, giving you the feedback. Okay, judges. Yes, eyes forward. Let's reset for our next print, please. And we have a silver award, 84. So we've got some very solid scores. We've got two of you in silver distinction, but not 5 points away from the average. And so that score will sit at 84. So well done to the entrant. Yeah, Dean, thank you for a comment.
Doubting what I want to say because I really like it's so well done. It's such a character portrait. The guy on the left is so good. This image may have been stronger without the guy on the right. I think the character in the
And we have a score of 77. Okay, everyone is sitting in the professional practice range, and Anna is going to offer a comment.
The wonderful thing about this is the feet. And I think that you've got to get rid of the guy on the right, and you've got to crop it in so that it's just all about the feet. Not about the writing, not about the blown out guy on the right or anything like that, because those feet are fantastic. So revisit it, crop it in, and make it about the feet, and you've got something more stronger there.
We've got a few nods happening here, so yeah, great, good comment. And another comment from Jeff.
I would just say if we're in the portrait category, I want to read it as a portrait, and I want to see one person at least with a face or with something that I can understand or interpret. I do like the feet, and I do agree with cropping off the guy in the white on the right.
Good, thank you, Jeff. Next print, please. Okay, we have a score of 85, but 84 by majority, so a silver award. And chafing at the bit here is David Britton, who has scored a 90. Now, David, I will let you know that you do have a little bit of company with Dean on 86 and everyone else in the low 80s.
Okay, how friggin' perfect! How beautiful! How amazing! It's printed, incredibly printed. It's the paper choice is perfect. I know what paper that is, and that stipple in the paper really works with this image, and it doesn't often work with every image, but it works amazingly with this image. So you catch it off kind of the light, and it just is just perfect. Its styling is amazing. That's a lot of styling to get that right with such a simple image, to get that perfect. It's single capture, so we haven't been able to go back and retouch hair and do anything with it, so that's incredible. The lighting is amazing. The choice of doing all those extra lights on the bottom, catch lights, which balances out the hair, is really well thought out, and yet we've got this beautiful graduation of shadow underneath her chin, and which is just once again done perfectly. I can't find anything wrong with it, and it's also very creative and very well done, and it's perfect in this category. So yeah, I'm encouraging us to go up to gold.
Okay. At sort of the other end of the score, Anna, you have scored at 82.
Yeah, I'm a bitch. Okay. I should have scored it more. I'm very happy to go into silver distinction, and I'd like to hear what other people have got to say.
Yeah, Jeff.
I love the way that I can imagine the flowers in the hair would have been a lot brighter, and it looks like it's been toned down a little bit, which I think is perfectly in keeping with the portrait, the skin tones and things. And I scored it silver, but I would like to go a bit higher now.
Good. Dean, you were sort of right up there in distinction.
I think I gave it a conservative distinction because I didn't back myself to have enough to talk it into gold because it is just so simple but so perfect. The thing that actually got me first was not the flowers, it was her expression, because it's different. You know, it's really unique and really in keeping with, it's like a joyous expectation kind of expression that's going along with it. She looks just like obviously stunningly, radiantly beautiful. And the way that that's all brought together with the sense of control is just fantastic. It's so good. But does it have enough to push it into the gold? I don't know. I'm still maybe struggling there. But yeah, I've got so much love for the technical excellence that's been put in front of us with this.
Lisa, we haven't heard from you. We are talking about a gold.
We are. And yeah, I was probably a bit of a bitch too. Maybe too many coffees and not enough chocolate. I'm definitely going to move up to silver distinction, fairly solid silver distinction. I'm not sure I'm in gold yet. What I need, someone's just handed me 2 Milky Ways. Maybe, no. All right. What's holding me back from gold is a really strong narrative, well, even just a subtle narrative. I know I don't always need it. Sometimes it's just about the fact that, you know, she's a beautiful young girl. It's got a slight anime feel to it as well. But also, and this is being dreadfully horrid for a single image capture, that second, or the first purple rose, that petal that's leaning down over her head is very bright. It keeps drawing my eye just a touch, which is just bringing it just out of that solid perfection for me. So perhaps if this is going to APPA, maybe just slightly darken down that front petal a little. But I'm possibly the only one that's seen that. I'm definitely listening. Tell me what brings this from silver distinction to gold.
Hey, well, David's about to tell you your reply. Thank you, David.
Well, first of all, I'm happy that everyone's prepared to move up, so job half done. But I want to get it to gold. So expression, amazing expression. That expression it's not too much, not too little. It's just the right expression. It's styling. my God, that is incredible styling. A really well thought out composition as well. The composition, it kind of, you cut it out and flip it around, and it works well upside down as well. So the composition is great. Great lighting, fantastic high level of visual communication, and I'd like to see it go well up there. So I'm encouraging everyone to score it as best you can.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, David. You will hold your score at 890, and I would invite everyone else to rescore. Thank you. Oh, hey, entry has scored 89. Wow. Silver with distinction and a very solid score. Yeah, and yeah, that is a brilliant, yeah, brilliant score for sure. And great debate too, good challenge. Yeah, and a beautiful print. Okay, well done to the entrant, and ask for our next print, please. Waiting for you, Dean. Don't drop the ball now. And we have a silver award, 82. And we're all, most of us sitting in the low silver range. Dean, yes, comment.
I would have loved to have seen some paint dripping off the paint brushes that are in her. Were you thinking the same thing? Yeah, I reckon you've done such a good job to get this model to commit to getting painted. Just commit that little bit more. And if there was that little, paint dripping off the paint brushes that are out of her hair, awesome. Yeah, you can. Yeah. You reckon?
Yeah, okay.
But you know what? It still go well in open. Yeah.
True, yeah. So the comment there, if you're on live stream, is, even it would go well in open still. Yes, and both our judges had that same thought. Okay, next print, please. Woo! And that is the end of the portrait category. Well done, judges. Well done, entrants.